Hello everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Cute and Crafty, and I am back with 3 new Easter DIYs for you today. These are simple and beautiful, so let's get started. I will be using my um, folk art paint in the color Parisian Gray. I've got some wood glue, I've got some more of those little pom-poms, some cardboard, some yarn, and 6 of the Dollar Tree boxes that have the parts that slide in, the box that slides in. These are just leftovers from another project where I had these extra hollowed out pieces, and I figured got to make something with them, so let's work from the stash. So here you just see me gluing the boxes together using hot glue and wood glue, and making sure that I glue together the parts that have the cutouts in them so that they don't show on any of the sides or on the top. So I'm going to glue a set of 3, a set of 2, and then just leave the 1 on its own. And I took the cardboard and I cut it down to fit the backs of the boxes so I can close them up. And I'm just using some hot glue to do that. Now I'm going in with my Parisian Gray Folk Art Home Decor paint, and we're going to give each of these set of boxes 1 coat of paint. And now I'm taking some of my cardboard, and I sketched out a bunny ear, and I'm using it as a template to do the second bunny ear. I'm taking that fluffy gray yarn that I got at Joann Fabrics, and I'm just going to cover these ears up. I like to run a strip of yarn diagonal. Do I not know? Vertically, so that the point of the ear is covered, because it's sometimes hard to wrap around that point. It keeps slipping and sliding, it doesn't stay. So I find that if I run it vertically, up the front, over the tip, and down the back, when I start wrapping it horizontally around the ear, when I get to the top, that point is covered. Just going in and fixing a spot that kind of slid and left a little opening. By all means, you can paint the cardboard gray before you wrap it, or whatever color you're going to wrap it in. You can paint it first. I just thought that this yarn was fluffy enough that I wouldn't have to do that. So I've got my ears done, I've got my blocks painted, and now I'm making a fluffy tail, and I just grabbed what I had on my craft table, which was one of the wooden eggs from Dollar Tree, and I just wrapped it around the wooden egg like, I don't know, 50 times maybe less, and I'm just tying it in the middle and making sure I'm tying it really tight, or else once I cut those loops, those threads or those yarn pieces will slide out. As you can see, I pulled some out, so then I had to retie it. So I'm just making a pom-pom. I did go in my own handwriting and write on each of my blocks HOP. This is going to be the bunny hop box. That's what I'm calling it, the bunny hop box. So we're getting that pom-pom all trimmed up, and we'll start putting this together. This one was so easy, and it's just cute. Going in with my Sharpie, and I'm just going to outline each of the letters and then fill them in with the Sharpie. You can definitely do this with paint if you want to. I'm just using what I have on hand. I do have Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, but The Sharpie works just as well. I am taking one of those Dollar Tree pom-poms. This one is a rosy colored pink, and I am gluing that to the O, which is going to be his little nose, and I'm using my white yarn to make his whiskers. You can definitely use some pipe cleaners. Those would be super cute because you could kind of shape them in the way that you want. But I'm using the yarn because that's what I have available. I love that DIYs are customizable to what you want. Make them the way you want them to look. You can take an ideal from someone else and really just go with it and make it your own. And I love that about doing things on your own, making your own DIYs. Just taking those ears and gluing them to the back. And I found that they weren't as stable or as, secured as I wanted them to be. So all I did was take a piece of popsicle stick or craft stick and glued it to the back to make those ears more secure. And I did go in with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and I painted that popsicle stick. So now I've got the ears glued on, I've got his little nose and whiskers glued on, and his bunny tail glued on. And if you notice at the top of that box, I have no idea how I missed a whole square and didn't paint it. But your girl went back in and painted the top of that box. So now I'm just kind of fussing around with this bow. I had this leftover ribbon from the Valentine's box that I redid in my previous video. And I was just laying on my craft table and I thought, oh, I can use this and put a little bow on the ear of this bunny box. I'm all about using my scraps and using what I have on hand and going through my stash and just creating really cute stuff. So that's that one. Move on to DIY number 2. I am making a truck. I wanted an Easter truck. This was inspired by a truck that I saw at Kohl's, which was really pricey. So I thought I can make my own. I have more than enough to make it. So I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree slatted crates. I have one of those little hanging basket crates. I have some of my Tiara paper that I like to use. So that'll work for the fender. And then I have some half beads that I ordered from Amazon. I've had these for a while. One of the wooden bunnies. 4 wheels that I got from Hobby Lobby in their wood pile section. You get 8 in a pack. And I have my Waverly white chalk paint. I'm trying to decide between these 2 blue paints which one I want to use. I do, however, end up using the folk art in the color Bluebell. I was going to lighten it up and then I thought, nope, I'm going to use it the way it is and see how it comes out. And I actually ended up loving this blue. I also have a wooden dowel and I cut that in half, and that's going to make the axles for the wheels. So I'm going in with my Waverly antique wax and a baby wipe, and I'm just wiping these wheels down, applying that stain, and these came out nice. I really like them. So now that I've got my wheels all stained, my tires, I'm going to set them to the side and let them dry. And I am painting my little half beads white. I'm also going to paint that little wooden bunny white as well. And then I'm going to dry brush the bunny with some of the antique wax. And I don't know if I did that on camera or off camera, but when you see it, I think I did it off camera. When you see it, you'll see that it's got that little bit of antique wax on it that makes it so cute. So now I'm adjusting the camera, apparently. I'm gluing these 2 crates together to make my truck using a combination of wood glue and hot glue and making sure that I don't mix the 2 together. And now I'm taking that little planter box crate and I am gluing it to the top. to make the cab of the truck. This came out so cute. I am so proud of this DIY. I absolutely love it. I love a good country truck, a farmhouse truck, and Dollar Tree always has the cutest trucks, but I love that I made this one myself. It's not just one dimensional. It just doesn't sit flat. It's a 3D truck, and I like that. I went ahead and pulled one of those wood slats out of the front to give it an opening for a window. And I'm just going to put it in the back. So now I'm using some of that silver Tierra paper, and I'm getting that glued down for the front fender. I'm also going to do a slightly thinner strip for the back fender. And now I'm taking some of those half beads and I'm going to put back lights on and front lights on. I'm now taking those half beads and I am adding them to the center of the wheel to make a hubcap. Now I'm going to take that wooden dowel. I'm just putting it on the back of the crate for placement. I just need to see where I want the wheels to sit. And then I marked it with my pencil so I will know where to glue it. And I'm going to use hot glue and wood glue again. Now, because the front of the box does not have as much wood to glue that axle to, what I'm using the dowel for as an axle, I added a piece of popsicle stick to give it more space to be glued down. And don't you dare worry about the inside of that box, because you know I'm going to go back in there and paint the inside of that box blue. Inside the cab of the truck, I left in the natural wood color. I have a little piece of scrap wood that I took my X-Acto knife and I made the, I don't even know what you call them. I made the long lines or the slats to make it look like a slatted piece of wood or shiplap wood. I just took my X-Acto knife and ran it down the wood. I kept running it back and forth till it made the indentations or the grooves in the wood. And then I painted it white and I wrote on the, this is my sign for the truck. I wrote on it, Cottontail Trucking Company. And then I added the bunny and I am securing it with wood glue and hot glue. So now I am taking these eggs from Dollar Tree and I'm trying to see how I want them in the truck. The way I saw them in Kohl's, they were just glued in a stack on top of each other in the truck. But I thought, you know, I'm going to make this my way. And so I took the wrapper or the plastic bag from the eggs and I layered the bottom liner of that truck so that I could put some moss in there without making a big mess. And now I'm just going to put the eggs in. I don't want to glue them in because I know I will do something different with this truck. I could put flowers back there in the bed of the truck or anything like that. So I don't want to glue the eggs in. So I'm just sitting them in. And as it turns out, it looks better with 3 more so than 4. So now, moving on to DIY number 3, we are going to make a bunny picture. It's just going to be a wall hanging, and it came out super cute. So I have burlap and a canvas and some moss and some ribbon and some cardboard, some of those styrofoam eggs from Dollar Tree, just various things that I'm using. And I will also be using Waverly chalk paint in the color moss, and then I'll be using my purple paint from Delta Crema Coat acrylic paint in the color lavender. So I'm just going in and I'm getting this canvas off of this wood frame, and I'm staining the wood frame in my Waverly antique wax. I removed all the staples. It was painstakingly done, but I really wanted those staples out of there. So now I know you're thinking, why'd you take the canvas off just to put it back on? Because I wanted to get it all stained and I didn't want the canvas on the side it was on. So I flipped it because I wanted that frame to stand out. But I want the canvas back because I need it for the burlap. I wanted that background to adhere that burlap to. So I just stapled the canvas back on and I trimmed the edges, missed a spot, so we're going back and we're getting that. I love the way this took the stain. There are some spots where there was glue and it didn't take it as well, but I just think it adds to the charm of it. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't mind it at all. I like it. So we're just trimming off the excess canvas. And then I'm going to glue that burlap down. That burlap ribbon. I got that from Walmart. Taking my marker and just marking it. And I used the silver one and not the black one because you can't really see it. The black one would have left a more obvious mark. The silver one really didn't. Going to run a bead of hot glue down the side of the canvas on each side, and using my finger protector, we're just going to get that glued down. So here you see my cardboard bunny, and I just freehanded that and cut it out. And now I have this moss, and I'm putting it in a shoebox top just to keep it from making such a big mess, because you guys, this is messy. So you're just going to put hot glue on the cardboard a little bit at a time and attach the moss. Be careful not to burn your fingers. It's really not something you can do with finger protectors on. And so after I get it on, I just go back in with my little scissors and I trim it up so that you could really see the definition of the bunny. Now I'm going to take my hot glue and adhere the bunny to the burlap canvas. And I told you guys I would be using my Waverly moss chalk paint and my acrylic paint. And I took those foam eggs and I just cut them in half and I painted them in those 2 colors, and I'm adding them to the bottom of this frame. Purple is my favorite color, so anytime I can use little, spots of purple, little dabs of purple here and there, I love using it. Purple just makes me happy. So I'm going in with, you guys see the ribbon changed? I started out with like that brown polka dot ribbon. Yeah, no, I changed the ribbon, and I am going in with some green ribbon in a gingham pattern and a solid grosgrain purple ribbon. And I'm going to make a bow for this bunny. And now I'm going to take some of my beads, and I get these beads from Walmart, and sometimes I get beads from Hobby Lobby, and sometimes I get beads from Dollar Tree, just wherever I can find beads that look interesting to me. And I am going to make a hanger for this picture. I think it deserves one. It just looks like it needs a beaded hanger to finish it off. And what you're not going to see on camera, and most likely not going to see in the reveal, is that I did go back and I added a fluffy white tail to the bunny. I was on the fence about it. My crafting, for the most part, is just whatever comes out of the imagination. And this bunny definitely was, I was just crafting as I went. I just kind of added things here and there as I felt like the picture needed it. And when I do that, I always come out with the prettiest things when I just let it flow. And there's like not a whole lot of planning to it. So now that I've got those beads on the twine, I'm adhering it to the back using a dollop of hot glue and some masking tape. And we're going to call this one done. Here is the final reveal. I hope you love these 3 Easter DIYs just as much as I loved doing them for you. You guys, please, if you've made it to the end of this video, give it a big fat thumbs up, share, comment, and consider subscribing. I would love to have you as part of the Cute and Crafty family. Thank you so much for joining me. Until I see you in my next one, be blessed, be safe, and craft something beautiful today, you guys. Bye.